Top Trends Hub presents 7 people who survived the impossible. All of us must have heard some incredible and unbelievable stories where some people managed to survive scenarios that logic can't quite explain. There are many real-life heroes who have endured mind-boggling traumas and hardships. They've lived in rafts for weeks and months at sea, trapped in a faulty parachute, eaten alive by anaconda, and emerged from collapsed buildings. Here are the stories of 7 such people who've managed somehow to survive fates that might seem to mean certain doom. 1. Aron Ralston cutting own arm to free himself. Climber Aron Ralston found himself trapped alone in Utah Canyon and had to perform DIY surgery to save his life. For 6 days, Aron Ralston kept himself alive with fierce self-control and a conviction that only logical thought could let him survive. He got trapped with an 800-pound boulder crushing his arm up against the stone wall. 5 days progressed and the rations and water were depleted. Using the boulder for leverage, he was able to snap the bone in his wrist and then with a very dull survival knife managed to slice through muscle tendon. He was finally found and rescued by fellow hikers. 2. Lindy Harding, skydiving with a faulty parachute. Harding was eager to try skydiving during her trip to California with friends. But after leaping out of the plane at a heart-stopping height of 8,500 feet, Lindy's parachute had become tangled in the reserve. Lindy continued to fall for 40 seconds and at 70 miles per hour until she finally struck the ground. Miraculously, she only sustained 2 fractured ribs, a punctured lung, a cracked nose and chipped tooth. It is reported that doctors blame her survival on the fact that she passed away before hitting the ground since her body was relaxed. 3. Holly Dunn, the only surviving victim. Angel Resendiz was a man who had already killed 6 people and would continue to kill even more. Holly Dunn and her boyfriend Chris Mayer were far away from a party and wound up chatting near some train tracks. Resendiz approached and threatened them with an ice pick, then tied 2 of them up only to kill Chris Mayer with a 50-pound rock to the head. Holly Dunn was assaulted in all ways imaginable, but she managed to survive rape, an ice pick to the neck, shattered eye socket, and broken jaw. Holly Dunn was the only survivor among the 15 people Resendiz murdered over the span of 15 years. 4. Rosalee, eaten alive by an anaconda. The Discovery Channel was airing a special about anacondas featuring filmmaker Rosalee wearing a snake suit and voluntarily being swallowed by an anaconda. He slathered himself in pig's blood, drew the attention of the massive snake and was immediately coiled in its grip. Rosalee had panicked after he felt his arm breaking and requested for the crew to detach himself from the huge anaconda. Only part of his head went through the snake's mouth, but had his stun gone further, Paul may not have survived. 5. Ken Henderson stranded at sea. 2 best friends, Ken Henderson and Ed Cohen, embarked on fishing trip in the Gulf of Mexico when without any known cause the 30-foot-long boat was sinking very fast. There was no time to call for help over radio, nor could they prevent the boat's systems from failing. Before they knew it, the boat had sunk and they were both stranded for 30 hours in the ice-cold Gulf. Henderson made a last-minute effort to swim towards an oil ring. After 50 miles of swimming, Henderson made it and could call his wife. Unfortunately, Cohen's lifeless body was discovered a short time later. 6. Truman Duncan cut in half by a train. This railroad switchman had tumbled off the front of a moving train car and was dragged underneath the train. His body was basically sliced clean in half. He was separated from both legs and a kidney. However, he managed to call 911 on his cell phone and hold out for the 45-minute wait and survived the 23 surgeries that followed after the accident. 7. Templar, mauled by a hippo. Templar was suddenly attacked by a hippo. After Templar's partner guide was thrown into the river, he jumped in to try to save him but ended up head first inside the hippo's giant mouth. Its giant bone-crushing teeth speared through his armpits, ruptured through his back, ripped his foot, severed his arm, broke ribs and tore holes all through his torso. After a 7-hour of operation, Templar survived the brutal hippo attack. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more videos.